This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So Spencer, there's a lot of handymen out there, and besides, the fact that you've used a bidet, and maybe other handymen have not used bidets, what makes you different than the other handymen out there?
What I've heard from my clients' past experiences with Handyman is they set the bar really low. I focus on presentation, showing up clean, keeping their house clean before and after the work.
And during, probably.
And during.
Yeah.
I just try my best to do exactly what they're looking for, and open and honest communication of what I can and can't do. Because in the beginning, there was a lot of things I just couldn't do, and they loved it when I said, I don't know. And they're like, thank you so much for being honest instead of trying and making it worse.
Don't fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. And so, Matt, do you have any questions?
Well, sometimes, especially last year, the past couple of years, we've had some pretty strong winters where the wind has blown down groves of trees. We used to have a tree-lined freeway over here, and all of those trees got taken out by the wind and the heavy rain. And I know a lot of people have issues with their fences blowing down. Do you guys get a lot of calls for that? And do you deal with a lot of repairing fences and putting fences up?
Absolutely.
That's a big issue in Sacramento, especially in the past couple of years. So many fences going down.
Oh yeah. The good neighbor fencing, the 6 foot tall, they're just walls for wind.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So you guys do fencing, you do electrical, do you do any plumbing work?
Yeah. We just don't, the only plumbing we really don't do is the trenchless sewer repair or anything that goes out to the street. We do all the in-house residential plumbing.
What about if you walk into a home and they've got original hardwood, but it's in bad shape? Do you guys contract that out? How would you guys help someone who's got, maybe they're selling their home and they want to get it in good shape?
Like it's buckling? Like it got wet, or what do you mean?
It's just in bad shape. Like it just looks bad.
Just needs refinishing?
Yeah.
If that's
sanding and refinishing, maybe.
If that's the only thing they need, I would just refer them to one of my flooring people. But if it's, a part of a bigger project, we actually had that yesterday. She has this 1,000-year-old piece of marble with gemstones embedded in it, and it's just gorgeous.
This is the flooring?
It's the mantle.
Oh, it's the mantle.
But the rest of the house is this Brazilian hardwood.
Okay.
So she's like, should we just tear out all this hardwood? And it's like, absolutely not. You can't replace this with anything even comparable.
Wow.
For the value of that flooring. Right. So I just told her I can find her a refinishing guy, and we can move that mantle and put it where she wants it.
There you go. And it saves her a lot of money too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's another cool thing about working with you is you tell them if you can fix it or not. And then you're not just trying to gouge them either. Because there are great people in real estate, and there's horrible people in real estate. There's great people in life, and there's horrible people in life, right? And so handymen are people as well. And so unfortunately, though, it seems like the industry, generally speaking, tends to skew a little towards people who have substance abuse problems, people who don't necessarily care about personal hygiene, right? Things like that. So what we really appreciate because when we recommend somebody, here with Made for More Realty, you're an extension of the brand, because they met us, they expect a certain quality of service, and then when we refer somebody out, they expect that to be in keeping with what they've received from us so far. And so working with you is just a pleasure. If you were to give anybody advice, like somebody who is thinking about selling their home or buying a home, if you were to purchase a property, what would you recommend they look at? The things through your lens. So I look at it and I'll see dry rot, or I'll see the neighborhood, or I'll see comps. But through the lens of a handyman, what is it you see when you walk into a home?
I look for craftsmanship. So if it's a flip or if it's a recently remodeled, what are they? I can get pretty cynical. So what are they trying to hide?
That's a good perspective. What are they trying to hide?
Yeah. So are they trying to cover anything up?
So what are some keys? What are some tells that, hey, they're trying to hide something here?
If there's a lot of cracks, and then they didn't really fix it, they just put caulking in it, or in the drywall or something like that. I mean, I haven't seen a house without a little bit of cracks in the drywall, especially on the corners.
Yeah.
Or around doors, something like that. But if there's just horror stories when people buy these houses not knowing that there's, settling issues and stuff like that.
Yeah. So things like talking about flips specifically, because there's companies out there that do a fantastic job flipping homes. And there's companies that are just, oh man, they overpaid for the home, they under budgeted for the repairs, and now they're just trying to get out of the deal and they just need that thing sold. And so when I go in, again, craftsmanship is probably what I look at as well. So like I look at the caulking around the windows and the bathrooms. I look at the baseboards, how well are they connected. I look at the tile work, the backsplashes, like anywhere that they could have been sloppy. If that's a finished product and that's what you're able to see and it looks sloppy, what kind of repairs or adjustments did they make that you can't see?
Yeah.
Right.
Because all of our repairs, I tell my guys and I tell my clients, like, my name's on this. So if 10 years from now someone says, who did this? Or, next week, who did this? I want them to say Spencer, and I want them to say, wow, not ugh.
Don't call that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a billboard. These are billboards within people's homes and outside their homes that friends, family members, coworkers are going to walk by and they're going to go, wow, your deck looks amazing. Who did that? And then Spencer, call my guy Spencer.
Yeah.
Right? Or it's be like, that deck, is it leaning a little bit,
Yeah, why'd he do that?
Why'd he do that? Why didn't he do this? My guy's way better. And then all of a sudden, you're losing business. So if somebody wants to reach out to you and send you business, like they're looking to get their home ready to either go on the market, or maybe they bought a house and they're like, hey, before we move in, we have some things we want repaired. They can, of course, reach out to us here at Made for More Realty. Just Google madeformorerealty.com. Reach out to us. Say, hey, give me that handyman's phone number. Give me Spencer's contact info, and we can do it. But if they want to reach out to you directly, what's the best way?
Cell phone. Yeah.
Cell phone?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so what's your number?
916-934-9915.
9915. 916-934?
Correct.
9915. There we go. 934. So I was born and raised in Kalinga, and it was 935 for the longest time. 935. So it's 559 because it's Fresno, 559, 935, whatever. And then when the town started growing, they added the 934.
Nice.
So, hey, I love the 934. All right, so any final thoughts? Like if somebody... So I'm always curious, like people are always constantly trying to figure out, how do I improve the value of my home without spending the most amount of money, right? And oftentimes general contractors tend to be more expensive, handyman tend to be less. General contractors, licensed and bonded, like there's a higher degree of professionalism there, handyman less. So if somebody was wanting to reach out and figure out, hey, should I call a contractor or should I call a handyman? Where does that line? Because you do both, so they should just call you. But how would they differentiate?
So, I mean, a lot of my job is just problem solving. It's not exactly the fix or it's what are you actually looking to get out of this project? Mm-hmm. So when it comes to adding value to the home, when they're trying to sell, I always defer to the realtor, which has the highest priority. What's going to add the most value for the budget?
Yeah.
That's a problem I've seen is they assume handyman's going to be cheaper, and they expect lower quality fixes, and I just don't do that. So if they want me to cut corners or cover up anything, I just say, this isn't what we do. We either fix it correctly or we don't fix it at all.
Love that. A lot of integrity and ethics there. So when I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this, but let me ask you this: do you do any investor work, like work with investors, or is it typically directly with the homeowners?
I've gotten phone calls with that. I can't say. Actually, yeah, we have done a few repairs for people that don't live in the house, but they're not flipping it, but I guess they were investors.
But it's not like, hey, and somebody bought the house, wants to flip it, they can't call you and you'll run the whole job?
Oh, they absolutely can.
They can?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those of people who are listening, like, hey, I have this great deal, I just don't know how to make the repairs, they can reach out to you.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time those investors already have the full plan.
They do.
Before they buy.
They do. But sometimes there's people who they thought they'd do it themselves, and then they realize they got in over their head, and they're like,
yeah,
call Spencer.
I see that a lot. They're halfway through and they're like, oh, this is terrible. I'm calling somebody.
I'm tired because they have to go to their work. They have to go to their regular job.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to do it on the off hours. And then
after the 5th Home Depot trip of the day, they're done.
Exactly. So is there any insight or any input that you want to share with the listeners before we end the show?
I mean,
so what would be so you show up on time, you show up professional, you don't cut corners, you get the job done. You're a handyman and a general contractor, so you do both. It's not just you, right? You have 2 guys that work for you as well, that do the handyman stuff. In addition to all that, like the typical handyman that shows up, it's just him, right? And so if you can't get him or he's backed up on a job, on another job, you'll be delayed in getting the work done, but it's you plus 2. So you got more depth to your skill set. Is there anything I'm missing that really differentiates you from the typical run-of-the-mill handyman?
Not really. I mean, the personality and communication is we really prioritize that, and I see that that's the biggest complaint from homeowners is, I can't get a call back, or they didn't show up again, or stuff like that, and we just pride ourselves in high integrity and doing the best job we can.
Yeah, I totally understand having a budget, and some people are on a fixed income, low income, no income, trying to sell properties or, make moves. But in my experience, calling the cheap person is not always the best. They'll reschedule on you. They'll end up being more expensive because they won't do it correctly. Really just, this is potentially your largest investment. Invest in this largest investment so that way you make the most amount of money.
Absolutely.
So Spencer, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, looking forward to next time.